It's unsettling for sure.
Now at 6, a Portland man is facing multiple charges after police found his mother's body in his refrigerator. Why he says he did it. Coming up in a live report.
Portland police have also arrested the man they say shot and injured 2 officers last week in Northeast Portland. How they managed to track him down ahead.
And if you still don't have a real ID starting next week, you could pay an extra fee just to get through TSA. How much time and money the alternative identity verification process will take. Coming up as your news at Sunrise starts right now. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Tuesday. I'm China Green.
And I'm Matthew Herchick. Rod Hill and Chris McGinnis are standing by with a look at weather and traffic. Gentlemen, good morning to you.
I feel like it's party day.
Party day.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Music.
Let's have a party.
Well, no, it's been so long since we've had expected measurable rainfall. And we're going to get that coming into the coast this afternoon and into the valley, if not late afternoon, certainly this evening. You can see the clouds offshore with our weather system. Now, to start, we're all dry, and it's another frosty morning, 29 degrees out in Salem. PDX has been down to at least 31 and 33 right now, but at 31 earlier this morning, 10 mornings in a row of freezing temperatures out at the airport. So it's another big coat morning. Again, we're all dry this morning. We'll be all dry at noon. And here in the valley, kids probably get home from school before the waves of rain starts to move in. So it's a big coat start, about 30 degrees on average. We'll be overcast 43 at noon, mid to upper 40s this afternoon. And then later today, the rain party begins. Here's Chris.
Party on, Rod. All right, let's get you out the door with a quick look at the drive this morning. The freeway volume starting to pick up. So far, no major issues. That's a live look at the Interstate Bridge. Southbound I-5 zipping along just fine. Let's take you down to Tualatin. We are getting word of a possible fender bender on 82nd in Norwood. A couple of emergency crews on the scene there. The freeway drive, fine out of that side of town. Northbound up near Carmen Drive, there's the taillights heading up towards 217. Zipping along just fine there. The Abernathy Bridge, I-205, it was closed overnight between Oregon City and West Lynn. You can see here behind me that has reopened. There's the bridge right there. Headlights headed northbound up towards Oregon Highway 99E. And last but not least, over on the west side, inbound Sunset traffic getting busier. But guys, so far, no crashes, no unexpected freeway delays. We're off to a good start.
Thank you, Chris. We start with a major update this morning. Portland police have arrested the man they say shot and injured 2 police officers last week in Northeast Portland.
Police identified the suspect as 41-year-old Eric Elkers. The arrest happened early Monday morning along Northeast 82nd, just south of PDX. Investigators say they found the gun they believe was used in that same area. DA Nathan Vasquez says his office will, quote, aggressively prosecute.
Portland cannot and will not become a place where someone can shoot at police and get away with it.
Court records show Elkers was most recently accused in an armed robbery at this Northeast Portland credit union back in 2022. He's now charged with 2 counts of attempted murder for the shooting. Now to Northeast Portland, where the remains of a man's deceased mother were found in the refrigerator.
Investigators say the remains have been there at least a couple of days. Libby Dowsett joins us from the apartment complex where the body was found in Northeast Portland. Libby.
Well, China, police say the man said he put his mom in the refrigerator in his apartment here, right here behind me, because he didn't want her body to smell as he collected her Social Security payments in the future. He said to police that she had been dead for 2 days when they showed up on his front doorstep of his apartment. And anyway, according to court documents, Portland police found the body of a 104-year-old woman in a refrigerator inside Richard Vineyard's apartment, noting the woman was his mother. Documents say she had passed away January 19th and that Vineyard told police he planned to keep her in the refrigerator to conceal his death as long as possible. He told police he wanted to collect both his and her Social Security payments to avoid being homeless, and that triggered a welfare check. One woman who lives in the apartment building said she couldn't believe it when she found out.
Definitely just really makes you think about like the state of the world and what everybody's going through, that people are that desperate, you know, and that was the best option, you know, that was maybe the only option in order to have a place to live or something, you know.
And court documents say police discovered this when Vineyard's brother contacted them with his concerns. Now, jail records show Vineyard was booked into jail and released for the time being as he faces charges of abuse of a corpse, mistreatment, and theft by deception. So a bizarre case that continues to unfold at this point. Back to you guys.
Libby, thank you. To Cowlitz County, a deputy coroner is expected to make a full recovery after she was hit by a car on a highway while on the job. Justine Enriquez was investigating a fatal car crash Saturday morning when another vehicle crashed into her, breaking her leg. The driver was arrested for driving drunk and has been identified as 43-year-old Michael Sturgill right there. We spoke with the coroner for Cowlitz County.
Just knowing what I know about the scene and being on scenes, there should have been multiple fatalities. I can only say thank you, God, for watching over everybody on the scene that day.
Enriquez broke her femur and had surgery over the weekend. Sturgill is charged with vehicular assault.
I took the lift to the top of the Palmer and pretty much jogged in my crampons up to the Devil's Kitchen.
Paige Balker was part of a rescue Sunday to save a climber who fell 300 feet on Mount Hood. Tragically, the 30-year-old climber did not survive. Devil's Kitchen stands at 10,000 feet, and even Balker, who has years of experience, had a hard time getting to the climber.
Well, it's really steep and it's icy up there currently. First of all, it's the winter. And we know in the winter, historically, that climbing conditions are much more challenging and much less forgiving than they are in the spring.
By the time rescue crews arrived, the climber had died. Balker says that this area is always challenging to climb and gets icier and steeper this time of the year. Meantime, Powell's Books has announced another round of layoffs. The bookstore called the move its final round amid a larger restructuring. Over the past year, the company says it has laid off about 20% of its workforce, affecting all levels of the company. Powell's called the move, quote, extremely difficult but necessary to match costs to the realities of the business.
You'll soon have to pay an extra fee to fly if you don't have a real ID or another federal ID. Starting on February 1st, passengers will have to pay a $45 fee in order to use an alternative identity verification system called TSA Confirm ID. TSA says it's optional, but that if you don't pay the fee, you may not be able to get through security. So is it really optional? It takes anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes to get through the process, but you can do it online ahead of your flight. Once you're approved, you're able to fly for 10 days without having to pay another fee and get re-verified. You don't have to pay the fee if you bring your passport, tribal ID, or other accepted verification. Say goodbye to open seating at Southwest Airlines. Starting today, the carrier will move from the first come, first serve seating to assigned seats. Executives say that the reason they changed it was because travelers want the option of seats with extra legroom at a premium price and more predictable boarding when they get on their planes.
In the last half hour, we asked you guys to weigh in on this change, and Tana from Portland said, quote, that's what I love about flying with Southwest. Open seating and free carry-on bags. I fly Southwest to and from Arizona often, and since I typically fly alone, I get to sit in the first 8 rows. When a friend comes with me, we will still get a seat up front. So, listen, I agree with Tana here.
No.
You know what you're getting when you book with Southwest, and that's why people do it. I do still want a viewer to weigh in on the seats, though.
Yeah.
The reclining seats. Right.
So Southwest is getting in on the extra fees. I get it, right? They want the extra fee for this, that, and this. Wouldn't it be great if somebody at corporate went, let's put some of that extra money we're collecting into a better food service? Wouldn't that be fantastic?
I'm not going to hold my breath on that.
Yeah, I mean.
Just be happy with the peanuts and move on.
Just a thought. Okay. All right, bigger peanut bags. How's that? Here's a look at our Salem sky camera. We've got frost on the grass this morning, 29 degrees out there. Here's Providence Park, the lights over the stadium. It's 40. Now, this says winds are calm, but the only reason it would be 40 is that the winds aloft are keeping the air from settling. So it kind of depends on where you are this morning. If you're freezing, you have no wind anywhere. 29 in Hillsboro and frosty, Wilsonville frosty. There's Troutdale and Gresham. Those east winds are kicking to about 40 miles per hour again this morning. Boy, that's been a long stretch for you folks. I know it. This shows afternoon rain arriving at the coast. It'll be all dry for you this morning, still dry at noon. Your highs in the 50s. A partly sunny, all dry day into this evening, central and eastern areas of our state. Portland could be dry until early evening. Weather models show rain by late afternoon coming up in Eugene, Albany, and about 5 p.m. starting to flirt with you folks in Salem. I've got Portland at 48. By the way, this is it. This is the finale of cold, frosty mornings. 40 tomorrow morning, showers at times. 44 Thursday morning, showers at times. 44 Friday morning, showers at times. Saturday looks like it could be all dry. I think Matt had 59 degrees. He could be right. Really nice Saturday. A shower chance on Sunday, but a day that also looks pretty nice. And then I've got clouds to sun on Monday. And that is your forecast. I'm going to hold my breath for the better food due to the extra fees.
It's a little dramatic. Thank you, Rod.